at this point, um, I've really hit rock bottom. To be honest, I feel like just the worst I felt in months, probably. It just keeps getting worse and worse. I feel like I'm at the bottom of like a pit and no way out. You know, no way to climb out. No, I just feel like there's nothing I can do. You know, I feel just uh, hopeless. You know, totally hopeless. And the thing is, I kind of knew this would happen. To be honest, you know, I knew like I was gonna move out of university. I was gonna move out of my accommodation where I was living alone and move back in with my mum. I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it. I knew I was going to be miserable here, but I had no idea how bad it was going to get in such a short amount of time as well. I mean, I've barely been back 2 weeks and it's already, shit's already hit the fan. And, yeah, I mean, my family's just been so fucking overbearing and shit. My mum has been doing, yeah, I mean, for a start, I came home and there were a bunch of like boxes and stuff that I'd sent home a few months ago, like just stuff I didn't need. So when my mum came up to visit me one time, I gave some stuff to her in a box, and I taped it all up and stuff. It was all sealed. I came home and the box is in my room and it's been cut open and gone through. Like my mum, a nosy woman that she is, has rifled through my stuff, looking at everything. And it's not like I have anything to hide, but it's just annoying, And I confronted her about it. I said, "What the hell's this?" Why are you being nosy? And she was like, "Oh, I'm not being nosy. I'm not being nosy. I just don't trust you." And it's like there's a lot to unpack there. I don't remember if I even said this in the last video. I don't know if I talked about this. I don't think so. But it's like, first of all, thanks a lot. And secondly, it's the same thing, it doesn't, it doesn't matter why you're doing it. It's still a nosy thing to do, and just no privacy, no privacy. I mean, I would say that my bedroom is like, I'm kind of like, confined to this area. I'm locked in here. It's like a prison cell, but even that's not really true because it's not really even a safe haven. I have to keep watch and stuff, and I was doing some spring cleaning while I've been home these last 2 weeks, just getting rid of a load of old shit that I don't need, and putting even more stuff in just in storage, trying to put it in the attic, and I put some of it in a box downstairs, and then I go down, and that's been open too, and my mum's gone through all this stuff, and it's just stop fucking being so nosy, and I didn't bother confronting her about that because it's like there's no point, there really is no point. And something else I confronted my mum about actually was some of the incidents that happened recently, like with my family. If you didn't see my last video, basically, this incident went down where there was like a small family gathering, and I got like shouted at and just humiliated in front of everyone over nothing, pretty much, which is not, I mean, that's pretty much what happens at every family get together. My family wonders why I don't want to spend time with them, is because every time I do, I either get like humiliated or get lectured at and told off about something, or you know, get reminded how shitty my life is. Oh, have you met anyone? Have you made friends at university? Have you got a girlfriend and stuff? It's like, no. Is it going well? No. That's what I want to say to people. It's gone shit. But obviously you can't say that. You got to put on a happy face and shit. And yeah, and I confronted my mum and I was like, I don't like being spoken to like that. It makes me feel like shit. And every single time I confront my mum, I do this maybe once a year probably, is I end up confronting my mum about this, and every single time the same shit happens. She just like completely shuts down, locks up, and she's just like, yeah, no, yeah, just giving like one word responses. I'll say like, oh, like this person like this to me, like I've been hit before and shit, and my mum didn't do anything, and I was like, do you think that's okay? And she's like, no, yes, no. That's all she ever does. So it's pointless to. This is why I don't bother really confronting anyone about it. Is because it doesn't nothing ever changes. And she also was like interfering with a bunch of other stuff. Like I want to get out the house, and she was like interfering with me like traveling and stuff. It seems that's kind of been resolved. So I don't even know if there's any point talking about it. But I wanted to go some places. Like I went to Europe a few months ago, and that was good. And I don't know, my mum's like interfering with more stuff, and it's just fucking annoying because it's like, it's not like I'm asking her to pay. I have the money, I have savings, I have the know-how, I have the experience to do it. I have a trip under my belt. I went to Amsterdam, I went to Berlin, I had a good time, but my mum thinks it's not acceptable apparently. But anyway, and yeah, like I said, I've just been trying to get out of the house because that's all you can do, and that's how I spent years of my life when I was living here, in between yeah, about the year, or I guess 2 years technically, between when I finished high school and when I moved out. Just like spending time at home, trying to get out the house because there's nothing else to do here in this tiny little town on the outskirts. of London. There's nothing else to do, you know. And I was gonna list a couple of the things that I try and do to cope and get out of the house. And the first one is the old method of just going for a walk. You know, I know that's how I would spend a lot of time. Many years I spent just walking around and around and around on my own. You know, just sometimes I'd listen to music, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I would just let like my thoughts play out and stuff. And that's the whole reason I pretty much started my channel, is because I was just thinking all this stuff, and I was like, hey, what if I said this out loud and put it on YouTube? And I guess something good came of that, maybe. But you know, there's only so many. There's only so much you can do, you know, and I've walked all the routes there are to walk around this area. I know this place like the back of my hand. You know, that's something people say. Go outside, bro. Just touch grass. You need to touch grass. Go outside. Like, it doesn't do anything. Okay, I did it. You'll feel better if you're in nature, bro. I went to nature. I don't feel better. I feel worse, actually, when I get back from these fucking walks. Whether you listen to music or not, whether you know, go for a run or a jog, or whether you walk, it doesn't make a difference, you know. I've been doing this shit consistently for years now, and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, and what I would do is I would just go out and hang out in the woods, you know. And what I would do to take out my frustrations, because I couldn't do it at home, I would just like smash like sticks and stuff, and break logs or whatever. And I would never like damage property. I'm not like you know, I wouldn't do any stupid shit like that. But I don't know. And nowadays, like, I don't even have the energy for that. You know, I'm not even like angry really. I don't like break stuff. I don't smash twigs and stuff on the ground or throw them. I just sit there or walk around. I just sit on this. There's this one place I go to all the time. Actually, it's this little clearing. When I was in the Scouts, we used to go there quite often because it was nearby where our meeting hut was. And there's this tiny little stone bridge over this like drainage system, and it's just big enough for one person to sit down on. And sometimes I just go and sit there and fucking think about shit. It's quite peaceful. There's not many people go there, so. And I don't know. I went and sat there the other day, and it just took me back like summer 2023, like just before I moved out. At this point, almost a year ago, or no, actually, yeah, exactly a year ago now. And it's just like, where the fuck did the time go? You know, not that I was any happier this time last year. I know I was still doing my channel, but I don't know, time flies, and you know, I don't really have anything to show for it, and I can bet that in a year's time I won't have much more to show for it either. But yeah. Anyway, that's one thing I do. Something else I've been thinking about doing is I've been flirting with going back to the gym. And the gym is one of those things, like, a lot of people will say, again, like I said, oh, do exercise, you know, if you go to the gym, you do exercise, it helps your brain and you feel better. You know, it's like, again, no. You know, when I went to the gym, it just made me feel worse about myself, genuinely. I know, I mean, maybe, I'm not saying, like, that's universal. For some people, maybe it does make them feel better, but I would go to the gym and just come back and feel, like, exhausted and shitty, and I'd look around at all the other people who were in so much, you know, better shape than me. And don't get me wrong, I lost a lot of weight, because I was like a chubby, like, bloke maxer, and I lost a lot of weight, and for the record, actually, in the last few weeks of being home, I've put it all back on. Yeah, I'm bloke maxed again. For months and months and months of basically starving myself, not necessarily on purpose, but, you know, just not eating, not really drinking enough water, which I know is obviously, you know, really fucking stupid and bad for you. I shouldn't have done that, but all this effort I put in to try and lose weight and be at a calorie deficit, and I was living a very idle lifestyle. Like, I wasn't going out for walks when I was at university, so that didn't help. But I started trying to go for walks, and I lost a lot of weight. And in like 2 weeks of slot maxing, you put it all back on. You know, it's like Sisyphus pushing that rock up that hill. You know, all the effort it takes, and it one second, one slip up, and it's all lost. You know, all for nothing. It's how it felt. You know, that's what I mean. It's just very demoralizing to go to the gym. You know, and there's all these people around, like, muscly and you know, probably on steroids. Honestly, like, social media has definitely warped people's expectations, I think, of what they can achieve realistically in the gym. But I think some of it is genuinely genetics. You know, I think I'm meant to be like either fat or scrawny. I don't think I was ever meant to be muscly. You know, I think that's never going to happen. And there's no, I mean, not that it really matters. I don't think it would help me or anything. I'm just saying, you know, I'd just go to the gym and feel like shit. And I felt really like, you know, like a fish out of water at the gym. I didn't feel like home, really. And I would spend a lot of time there again before I moved out, because I just wanted to get out of the fucking house. I would just spend hours at the gym, just like doing cardio. If I wasn't lifting weights, I would just do cardio for like 2 hours and stuff. And because I just didn't want to be at home, you know. And Yeah, that's probably where I'm going back to. But I haven't actually been back to the gym yet. But I got a membership, and it's a new gym. It's not my old gym. It's a new one. So we'll see. Because this particular gym, they have a branch in my university town. So when I go back in September, I can that will carry over. So I was just trying to think ahead. If I don't know if I'll keep going, but I would like to stay in shape, I guess. But yeah, and like another thing I want to do is like get a job. You know, so, I mean, kind of. That's like a double-edged sword because I don't want to get a job. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't want a job, but I just want to get out of the house, like I said. And it's really hard to find a job. You know, you apply to all these fucking places and no one's hiring. You know, and I think maybe I just came home too late. You know, everyone's already got their summer jobs and no one else is hiring. And you send off applications and applications and you don't get an interview. You know, and it reminds me of when I got a job in like I don't know late 2022, and like the second place I applied to because I really wanted to work at Five Guys, and I applied to a Five Guys location that isn't really near me. It's like quite a way away, but I like really wanted to work there, so I applied, and obviously they didn't hire me. And then I applied to this like shitty retail place that my mum told me about. She was like, "Oh, I walked past a store and they said they're hiring," and I went there and it was like the shittiest fucking place ever. I went there in like a suit and stuff, and I did the corny bullshit that all the boomers tell you to do, like walk in and shake their hand and tell them you're interested in the job. I did it, and it actually worked, and I got a job there. But I immediately saw why I got the job because their turnover rate was insane. And you know, by the time I was done working that job, just a couple months later, like Christmas 2022, no one who was working there was like still working there when I joined. You know, like everyone was new. I was like one of the oldest basic employees there. The only people who were consistent were the some of the managers and like the owner, and that was it. And even then, like yeah, and that's the kind of shit that's on offer. And even then, I don't know if I could get that job now if I applied. I don't think so. Surprised I wasn't fired because I just do such a shit job. I can't do anything right. You know, even these basic like really low IQ like subhuman jobs. Even I can't even get that right. You know, and people are talking about careers. I get emails from my university about like careers and stuff, thinking about what my future career is going to be. It's like, dude, I can't even do this basic shit. There's no way I'm going to have a career. Yeah, and just trying to kill time even at home. Like I wanted to do live streaming and that was a fucking fail. You know, I did two of those and those were both like really short lived. I just don't have it in me. I just don't have what it takes, I don't think. I don't know, maybe I can learn and get better at that, but I don't know. Because I don't think I'm that entertaining at all, really, to be honest. And it just makes me feel shit. It's hard to explain. Like when I was in Amsterdam, like I said, I was in Amsterdam on holiday or vacation, whatever, and I went live and I was just trying to talk to people and have a fun time because, you know, I was all alone in this big city, and Amsterdam's like a huge city, and especially for someone like me, like from kind of the middle of nowhere, like it's a big deal. And when I've been on holidays in cities in the past, which isn't often, like I've always been like with my family or well, no, that's literally it, like with my family. And then like I was all on my own walking around this big city, and it felt so lonely, you know, to be surrounded by all these people, and it just felt very lonely. And don't get me wrong, like I enjoyed it, but I wanted to go live to like hang out with people because I felt alone. And then I went live, and it was just like I don't know, it wasn't anything that anyone said. It's just it's hard to explain, but it just made me feel like really, really like shit in a way that I don't even know the words to describe how I felt, but just like really, really lonely. You know, it'd be like the way I would describe it is like imagine you had like a group of friends, which I know is like a stretch, but imagine you have like a group of friends, and then one day they just completely change, and it's like you don't even know who they are, and they like literally act like they don't know you. That's how it felt. I just felt like I felt all alone, and that's kind of, to be honest, that's kind of how I felt when I was live streaming the other day. You know, I did live streamings these last like 2 weeks, and they were both just fucking fails, dude. You know, just I need to plan that shit out better. Maybe I'll try again. And I got bored, so I made like a Discord server because I knew that shit was a bad idea. I regretted that as soon as I did it because I knew it was just gonna be such a stupid fucking idea. But people have been asking. So I did it, and then obviously, like, as soon as I make it, everyone just starts fucking fighting each other, and it's like, why the fuck can, you know, people just not get along, you know? And I don't want to have to deal with it. I just wanted to have fun with people and have a space, like I said, to share some things, have some friends and stuff, and you know, obviously we can, you know, I can't have nice things. That would be too much, you know. It's, you know, I don't know. You know, and there's just infighting and all this shit, and it's like somewhat like drama. Like, who gives a fuck about drama? You know, people sometimes talk about like the black pill community, the black pill YouTuber community. Man, I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm just like, I never signed up for that. I just wanted to make videos, you know. I just wanted to talk about my fucking experiences, and that's the only thing that I'm good at. And even then, sometimes I have my doubts. I'm certainly not an entertainer, and it's just like, I guess my mood got inextricably linked to the numbers on the screen. You know, watching them go up and up and up, and then they go down sometimes. You know, a video underperforms, or a video gets like more dislikes than usual, or you know, a live stream has a lower turnout rate than usual, or whatever, and it just makes you feel like shit. And then you see these like big YouTubers, and you're like, I'm not like them. You know, I'm a small fish. I mean, 2,000 at this point. I have over 2,000 subscribers, and don't get me wrong, like I'm grateful for it, but it's like that's way more than I ever thought in a million years that I'd ever get. And then it's like I'm really just still a small fry in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't mean anything, you know. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. And I guess I just like I have this like weird compulsion. I have this thing where I need everyone to love me and think that I'm awesome all the time. And if I get even the slightest hint that they don't feel that way, I just feel like shit and I start to hate myself. And God forbid someone actually says something critical of you. I mean, let's face it, it's the internet. You could find the cure for cancer in a video and someone would still dislike it or leave like a hate comment or some shit. And it's just, I don't know. I need to go back to what I was doing where I just like blocked all that out, all that noise. You know, all that noise. I need to block it out. And just like focus on my, I don't know if I'd call this my art, but I just need to focus on this shit. Because this genuinely, like some people think I was like exaggerating when I said this like a couple of videos ago. This channel is genuinely like pretty much the last thing that I have left that's like reliable and somewhat stable. It's kind of my rock or my anchor, and I know like whatever happens, I have this at least. So I don't want to fuck this up. That's why I'm very like anxious that I'll do something to ruin this, but I don't know. Like every video I make, I'm like, it's like I hate it. You know, I hate everything I do. I hate everything I make. I hate myself. Without sounding edgy. Anyway, as for future plans, I mean, fuck, I don't know. I want to start standing up to myself more, and this is actually something I said to my mum when I was like talking to her about confronting these people, and I actually feel like I made some headway with her with this, like some things I do, like when I was eating food and there's like the last little bits of food in the plate and I scrape it up. And I'm not being loud, I'm not like clanging, but I'm like scraping up the last grains of rice in my bowl, and then someone's like, oh, what's this guy doing? He's making so much noise, you know, like motion, everyone looking at my mum, like, oh, this kid's, my family's fucking crazy, dude. You know, you know, when I'm eating this rice and they all look at my mum like, can you say something to him? And it's like, I said to my mum, like, if this shit happens again, like, I'm not going to be aggressive with people, but I would like to say maybe if I'm too much of a wimp, I don't know, but I'd like to stand up for myself, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Yeah, and I got this stupid fucking family holiday coming up. We'll see what happens with that. Because my family tends to gang up on me. That's the thing as well. It's pretty difficult to stand up for yourself when there's like 5 people going at you. But anyway, and yeah, I just feel like this summer is it's a bad summer. You know, I can't say it in any other way. I don't know how I'm gonna cope, but yeah, I'm gonna come back with another live stream around my birthday. My birthday's at the end of July, and I'm 20 this year as well. 20 fucking years on this planet. 20 fucking years on shit out of luck. 3, or whatever the fuck it is, and yeah, maybe I'll plan that out a little bit, and hopefully we can have a good time. I don't know, dude. I don't know.